Welcome to tonight's bedtime story. Find a cozy spot, let the day's worries drift away, and settle in as we journey to the tranquil yet mysterious town of Everwood. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and let your imagination guide you through a tale of healing, courage, and discovery. Tonight's story is about mending the wounds of the past and reconnecting with the inner child within us all, finding peace and strength along the way. The beginning. Emily Harris returned to her hometown of Everwood after a decade-long absence, seeking solace and a fresh start after a traumatic divorce. Accompanied by her loyal dog, Shadow, she moved into her late grandmother's old, creaky house on the edge of the forest. The town was a shadow of its former self, filled with whispered rumours and lingering memories. The house was filled with memories of her childhood. The creaking floors, the scent of lavender from her grandmother's garden, and the old clock that ticked steadily in the hallway. Emily spent her days fixing up the house, uncovering forgotten family photographs and trinkets that told stories of a time when life seemed simpler. She found comfort in small routines: morning coffee on the porch, afternoon walks with Shadow, and evenings reading by the fire. Every night, Emily and Shadow would explore the surrounding woods, hoping the tranquility of nature would mend her fractured soul. The forest was both enchanting and eerie, with shadows that seemed to dance in the moonlight and the distant hoot of owls adding to the mysterious atmosphere. One night, while on their usual walk, Shadow dashed ahead, barking frantically. Emily followed and stumbled upon a hidden, dilapidated cabin deep within the forest. The cabin, overgrown with ivy and surrounded by ancient trees, seemed to pulse with an energy of its own. Inside, she found an old journal filled with cryptic entries, written by her grandmother, hinting at a long-lost family secret. The entries were a mix of personal reflections, detailed sketches, and cryptic symbols that intrigued and puzzled Emily. Emily's past. Emily's childhood in Everwood was far from idyllic. Her mother, Sarah, was a single parent who struggled with mental health issues, often leaving Emily to fend for herself. Emily's only solace was her grandmother, Margaret, a kind but enigmatic woman who seemed to harbour her own secrets. Emily remembered summers spent in Everwood, the lazy afternoons under the willow tree, the stories her grandmother would tell, and the sense of wonder and safety she felt. Her grandmother's house had been a sanctuary, filled with the scent of fresh bread and the sound of laughter. However, there was also a darker side to her memories. One summer evening when Emily was 8, she wandered into the forest and witnessed something terrifying. Her grandmother and a group of townsfolk performing a strange ritual. The sight of it was so traumatic that Emily repressed the memory, but it left her with a deep-seated fear of the woods and a feeling of unresolved dread. After her grandmother's sudden death and her mother's subsequent breakdown, Emily was sent to live with relatives in the city, where she buried her past and tried to build a new life. She threw herself into her studies and later into her career, hoping to escape the haunting memories of Everwood. However, the trauma of that night in the forest festered. manifesting as anxiety and trust issues, which ultimately contributed to the breakdown of her marriage. Returning to Everwood was a last-ditch effort to find peace and closure. Discovering the secret. As Emily delved deeper into the journal, she uncovered unsettling details about her grandmother's life. The entries suggested that her grandmother had been involved in a series of mysterious disappearances in Everwood decades ago. The journal spoke of shadows in the forest, cryptic rituals, and a group of townsfolk dedicated to protecting Everwood from a lurking evil. Emily spent her days poring over the journal, visiting the local library, and talking to the older residents of Everwood. She met Henry, an old friend of her grandmother, who revealed more about the town's past and its hidden dangers. Henry was a weathered man with a wealth of stories, and he spoke of a secret society called the Guardians, who believed they were protecting the town from an ancient curse. Emily also discovered a box of letters hidden in the attic, written by her grandmother to her mother. The letters revealed a woman torn between her duty to protect the town and her love for her family. Margaret wrote about the burden of keeping secrets and the fear that had haunted her for years. These letters added depth to the enigmatic figure of her grandmother, showing a woman who had faced her own struggles and made difficult choices. These revelations shook Emily to her core, making her question everything she thought she knew about her family. Determined to uncover the truth, she started investigating the old cases, which led her to unearth buried evidence and repressed memories from her own childhood. She realized that she had witnessed something horrifying as a child, something she had locked away in her mind to protect herself. Emily's nightmares returned, filled with shadowy figures and haunting whispers. She would wake up in a cold sweat, shadow by her side, sensing her distress. One evening, while reading the journal by candlelight, Emily had a breakthrough. A particular entry mentioned a hidden room in her grandmother's house, a place where secrets were kept. With Shadow leading the way, Emily searched the old house and found a concealed door behind the bookcase in the study. Inside, she discovered a room filled with old books, artifacts, and letters that detailed her grandmother's involvement with the Guardians. The room was a time capsule, untouched and filled with the scent of old paper and the weight of secrets long kept. The letters revealed that her grandmother had been protecting Emily from the dark force that had plagued Everwood for generations. The confrontation. Emily's investigation brought her face to face with the town's dark past and the people who had kept its secrets hidden. She discovered that her grandmother had been part of a clandestine group trying to protect the town from an unknown menace that had plagued Everwood for generations. The disappearances were linked to a sinister force in the forest, a force that had taken root in the hearts of the townspeople, feeding off their fears and traumas. With the help of Shadow, who seemed to have an uncanny ability to sense danger, Emily confronted this malevolent presence in the forest. She retraced her steps to the cabin where she had found the journal, and there she found an old ritual circle. As she stood there, the memories of that fateful night as a child came flooding back. She remembered the fear, the chanting, and the dark figure that had emerged from the shadows. In a climactic showdown, Emily faced her deepest fears and the dark entity, drawing strength from the love and loyalty of Shadow. She revisited the exact spot where she had witnessed the ritual as a child and allowed herself to remember the details. She realized that her grandmother and the townsfolk had been trying to seal away the malevolent force, sacrificing their safety for the town's future. Emily used the knowledge she had gathered from the journal and the hidden room to perform a counter-ritual, one that would finally break the curse. The ritual was intense, filled with moments of doubt and fear, but she was not alone. The spirit of her grandmother seemed to guide her, and the presence of Shadow gave her the courage she needed. The healing and closure. Through this confrontation, Emily forgave her grandmother and mother for their secrets and struggles. She understood that they too had been victims of the darkness and had done their best to protect her. The catharsis of facing her past allowed her to heal her inner child, breaking the cycle of trauma. The town of Everwood began to heal as well, its secrets finally brought to light. Emily decided to stay in Everwood, dedicating herself to transforming her grandmother's house into a sanctuary for others, seeking to heal from their own pasts. She created a community centre where people could come together to share their stories, support one another, and find peace. The centre became a beacon of hope and healing, drawing people from near and far who were seeking to mend their own wounds. Shadow, ever faithful, remained by her side, a symbol of the unwavering support and courage she had found within herself. The once sleepy town of Everwood started to blossom. Its darkness lifted as Emily and Shadow walked through the now peaceful forest, the moonlight guiding their path toward a brighter future. Emily found joy in helping others heal, and in doing so, she continued to heal herself. She reconnected with old friends, made new ones, and rediscovered the beauty of the town she had once fled. The bonds she formed with the community became a new source of strength, and the forest, once a place of fear, became a place of solace and reflection. As we leave Everwood behind, take a moment to reflect on Emily's journey of healing and courage. Allow yourself to breathe deeply, feeling the calm and tranquility she discovered. Remember, every night is a chance to let go of past burdens and embrace the peace within. Rest well, and may your dreams be filled with light and hope. Good night. Feel the warmth of your surroundings, the comfort of your bed, and let the story's soothing end guide you to a place of restful sleep. Remember that just like Emily, you too can find peace and strength within. Rest well, and may your dreams be as serene and healing as the journey we've taken tonight. Good night.